Okay, here we go. Hi. So glad you're here. Happy day to you, or evening, or afternoon, wherever you are in the YouTube world, in the global world. Isn't that amazing? I can be standing here in my backyard talking to people from all over the planet. Still blows my mind. I think it's magic, but anyway, that's a tangent on another topic. But what I wanted to talk about today was spring's regeneration, and I have my little cheat card, and human resilience in concert with nature. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct that, and I'm going to start with spring's regeneration. So spring in and of itself as a season is about regeneration, rejuvenation, respringing forth. And that, I went to so let me back up. I participated in a garden tour this weekend for the eco-friendly garden yearly tour of neighborhood gardens. And I visited 5 gardens with my sister, and 3 stood out, and I want to tell you the story of the 3 and why they stood out and how they tie together. And so the idea of spring's regeneration happening at the actual seasonal level, like we're having right now, and then also it's like within all these people that I met during this garden tour. It's just kind of like that was buzzing in everybody, that idea of regeneration. And I think one of the reasons too is 2 of the properties were directly impacted by the recent fires in Santa Rosa, and completely devastated and totally reimagined and rebuilt. And then the other one was their neighborhood was lapped by the fire. It's like it threatened, but it never made it in, which is amazing because it's a beautiful neighborhood, all wooded and lovely, and little hills and So the first garden that we visited was a succulent garden. And so I can remember what the gardens are. I call this the modern succulent rebuild with a view. So the dramatic, large property, large home, large view in the back, seeing across to the crest of the hill across the valley there. And on the top of that hill, you can see the remains of dead trees, green starting to sprout up, but not from the tip of the trees. You can still see that along the top as a representation of where the fire came from and the damage that it did, including the property with the view. It was also damaged beyond repair in the fire. So lots of succulents. It's a collector's garden. It was beautiful. The people that chose to rebuild, how do you get a view like that? So they were happy to rebuild, and it was lovely. But it was very modern, and so just the whole feel of it was wonderful. Just to feel all that energy and that idea of humans in concert with nature. It's like nature does her thing. It's not that she damages us. She just does her thing. Nature happens. And how do we respond to it? And these people are responding with resilience. And I just love it. And then the second property we visited was also a fire damaged property down to the nubbins, nothing left. And it was in a very small neighborhood, very tight, small lots, small properties. And this particular property, the homeowners decided, a lot of people in this particular neighborhood, which it's a very large like subdivision, and in that subdivision there were areas that were totally devastated. And it was like 1 minute there was no fire, the next minute it was on you, and if you could run out of your house and save your life, that was a good thing. It was pretty frightening. This property, the owners decided to stay and rebuild. And they realized after they made that decision that it wasn't just a rebuild, it was a reimagining. And I love that. They're reimagining their space. How can they live in their space in a new way? Young family, small children, and next thing they know, they had a food forest in their backyard, and fruit trees and berry plants and whatnot in the front yard. So the whole thing became this sustaining themselves and their family, and solar panels and their own backup batteries, and huge water tanks, and shrouding so you don't have to look at it, and just amazing what they did with this small property. And it looks lush and large when you get onto it. And it's, I think it's only 3 years old. So that was property number 2. Again, resilience, just like crazy. And then property number 3 was in a neighborhood that I felt like, yeah, that went from devastation to food forest. And then this next one, it was lapped by the fire. So it threatened, but it never came into that little enclave neighborhood. Much larger properties, very rural, very country-like, but very well kept. And this particular property that we visited was a property of artists from South Africa. At a big art studio we got to tour, which was totally wonderful. Tell you what, the gal that does the painting, oh, her colors, just, it's like that girl knows color. So good, so good. Okay, and so the garden is the backyard. So you drive into the driveway, you drive up to the house, you walk up to the house, and then once you get in the house, if you want to go into your backyard, you have to go up. It's a very steep incline, and what they've done is they've terraced it just a little bit and planted the whole thing. It's all irrigated, and just slowly, it's like collectors. Ooh, I like that plant. They put it in, see how it does. And so the whole yard is like that. It's delightful, little pathways cut out. So this is a 30-year-old garden. And so I'm thinking to myself, every year, as their energy may dwindle, walking up and down that back hill to plant and whatnot, I'm sure it's keeping them young. And just being able to stay in your home, even though the fire threatened, but you didn't have to leave. So feeling even more, more grateful for that you're still in your home, and that the trees and the things that you planted 30 years ago are still present. And just having that resilient heart, and she was delightful. He was delightful. It was a pleasant visit. So all of that together, again, was about spring, regeneration, in the heart, in the minds, in the souls, in the bodies, and in real life. And humans in concert with nature, rejuvenating in concert with nature. So beautiful. So it was making me think, am I leaning into being in concert with nature? Allowing her to inform me, for me to be in flow with nature? And when I'm not, what does that feel like? And how do I get back into alignment? Because so here's the deal for me. Being in alignment with nature, allowing her to help move me, puts me in a space where I feel like I'm at home. And who doesn't want to feel like they're at home wherever they are, right? At least that's for me. So raise your hand if that's for you. But anyway, yeah. So being in harmony with nature. And when I'm out of harmony, how do I get back in and learn why I get out of harmony, so that I can be on top of what pushes my buttons, right? What gets me all befuddled. So that is my muse for the day. That's my story for the day. Story/muse/share. And yeah, and the garden here is just doing delightful. I'll take a little spin around because I want to show you the Sally Holmes against the house over here. So let me do this and see if I can not make you sick. But yeah, I mean, it's a tree. That right there, that is a climbing rose turned into a tree. You see how it's almost as tall as the house? Not the peak, but the roof line of the house. And it's glorious. Just glorious. Oh, thank you. Thanks for letting me share my story. It's good to see you. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye.